as one sports entertainment fan to another. Is this a work or is this a shoot, brother? What is going on here?
It's what needed to happen for the business. Was KSI happy about it? Absolutely not.
Another big piece of news that happened late last week as well is that Misfits announced Misfits Mania. This is an event that has been sort of bandied about, rumored for quite some time. It is going to be taking place in Dubai on the 20th of December. And they announced a fight that had been previously reported, and it involves a very controversial and polarizing figure, not only in the world of combat sports, but in the world, period. Andrew Tate going up against Chase Damore. This is a fight that, as you can see right here, is going to be contested for the Misfits Boxing heavyweight title on the 20th of December. In addition to that announcement, Misfits announced that Andrew Tate is the new CEO of the company and that KSI is out. So here to explain what all of this is the president of Misfits Boxing. The one and only Mams Taylor is back on the program. It has been a minute since we last spoke to him. There he is. Hello, Mams. How are you?
Hi, Ariel. Thanks for having me.
It's great to talk to you as always. Thank you for joining us and for giving us some time. I was trying to get through all of that because there was a lot that happened late last week. So Misfits Mania, what does Misfits Mania mean? Why is this different than your other Misfits events?
I think this is going to be, I guess the prequel to this could be the Prime card, you know?
Yep.
In terms of the urgency of it and the magnitude of it, it's going to be our biggest event to date. Star-studded, on the card, in the stands, watching, and just all around. I think the magnitude of it's going to be massive, and it's going to be an annual thing.
Okay, so is Damore versus Tate versus Damore the main event?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you can't put Andrew Tate on a card without him being main event, especially now he's the CEO.
Okay, and how difficult was it? Because I know people have, tried to get him to fight recently because of his background in kickboxing. He was a kickboxer and then became, an influencer and all this stuff, and then hasn't fought since. How difficult was it to do this deal with him?
I'm going to tell you something really surprising, Ariel.
Okay.
I don't think I've ever worked with any fighter that's been easier. And when I tell you the guy, he's a businessman, he gets it, he gets the business, there was no red line on the contract. It was more like he signed it within 5 minutes and I said, don't you want your lawyer to look at this? Or is there anything you feel? He's like, I glanced at it. You and I have built trust. If you fuck me, we're done. And otherwise, we're going to make a lot of money and have a lot of success together. And I was like really taken aback by that. And aside from that, he's just been, I'm like, hey, do you think you could do a video of you on the pads or something? He'll send me 10, So I'm not used to that because, some fighters are nice and easy to get along with. But with Andrew Tate, he's such a mega superstar. You would expect it to come with some difficulty, but I can't speak highly enough about how he's presented himself, how smart he is, and how he works, basically. His work ethic is incredible.
One fight deal?
Well, you wouldn't be a CEO for a one fight deal, right?
Well, I mean, two different positions. And we'll get to the CEO thing in a moment, but so he's in it for the long haul.
He's in it for the long haul. He's all in. He's very committed. And like I say, he's very easy to work with, very creative. So I can't speak highly enough.
Okay. And as far as Chase being his opponent, because I saw this get reported earlier on, Chase denied it. I don't know if that was all just kind of part of the show, but why did you pick him for his opponent?
Well, I think it was by proxy that he's the heavyweight champ.
Okay.
And Andrew's like, look, I want to come in. I want to announce being the CEO, and I want to be the world heavyweight champ of Misfits. And I think that's just what it had to be.
Okay, because Darren Till was on not that long ago, and it seemed like he was really interested in this fight.
I think Andrew also brought up that Darren Till is a possibility, and I said let's wait for that and not rush it, because I think Chase has been a company man. He deserves his flowers, and he is the heavyweight champ. And B, for Andrew, I think as a businessman, being quite frank with you, I'm building Darren up. And I've been building, I mean, I know Darren's very established in the MMA world, but he's really become a superstar in the world of Misfits as well. So we've been building that up, and he's a guy who's a potential massive pay-per-view seller with some of the cards that we've got on. So yes, I want to give the people the fights they want to see, but timing is very important on that, you know?
You're not suggesting that Darren would be an underdog against Andrew.
I'm suggesting that one of them would have to lose. And that's all there is to it. I think, and look, this is the thing. People are underestimating Chase the Moore as well, but he's improved a heck of a lot since he started. And he proudly wears that as a badge. Like, if you watch his first fight where he's doing pirouettes in the ring, and everyone was making fun of him and he was viral for all the wrong reasons, to where he's come now, he's a force. He's a tough guy. He's a lot bigger than Andrew. So, you know, Andrew as the top G, why does he have to risk this in the first place? And I'm impressed that he's taking that fight, and I think people shouldn't underestimate Chase. It's going to be a banger of a fight, and it'll show everyone kind of, you know, for Andrew, I think it's a test to see where he's at after many years not in the ring. Sorry.
No, I was just going to ask, will Darren be on this card?
No, Darren will not be on this card. I've got plans for Darren on the card after, hopefully.
Could you tell us about any of the other fights on the card?
Your favorite Dillon the Crow Danis will be on the card defending his belt.
Okay, so the Crow. I haven't heard that nickname before.
I'm hoping it'll stick.
Okay.
Quite like emo, and he's like a dark superhero almost.
Okay, so you're saying like he's like Sting circa 1999.
I'm asking the commission if they'll allow him to fight with face paint.
Okay.
I don't know if they'll.
And who would he be fighting?
I can't say that yet. We're going to announce it this week, though, so it's something to look forward to. But there's history there, and it's like, I think it's going to be it's going to be a humdinger, as they say.
And this is MMA.
This is MMA.
Okay. I want to get back to the MMA stuff in a moment, but now going back to Tate. So Tate is announced as the CEO, the new CEO, and I've seen KSI/JJ tweet about this and voice his displeasure. And so now I ask you as there it is, KSI saying LOL, writing LOL to the tweet and whatnot, and he had some others as well. And so I'll ask you, as one sports entertainment fan to another, is this a work or is this a shoot, brother? What is going on here?
It's interesting because I guess you could say it's a work from my end, because it's what needed to happen for the business. Was KSI happy about it? Absolutely not. So, when you asked me that offline, I said it's complicated because it's real, but it's something I think when I've been speaking to Andrew, I was like, this is the way that we can introduce this and make it work. And in that regard, it's as real as it can be.
But what does that mean? Is KSI not involved in Misfits anymore?
KSI has his equity. He's an equity partner, but I don't think he's suited for the CEO role right now, as his focus is on a lot of other things.
Like what? Is music? Prime,
music, YouTube.
Got it.
Main on Britain's Got Talent. I mean, the list goes on and on. Sidemen, and he does very well. And for me, I want him to have fun with what he's doing. And if and when he gets motivated to fight again, then that's a different conversation. But I think for Andrew, this is a perfect role. He's incredibly articulate, and he embodies kind of the misfit spirit. So I think it's going to be a great time for all of us.
And so you called him up and said, "I'm going to replace you with Andrew Tate," and you had full power to do this?
Well, we went to the board and we made our decision. We could, some things. Without saying too much, KSI wasn't happy about it when he found out.
Okay.
You know?
And how is your relationship with KSI now?
I mean, I think professionally we get, everything's in order. This is obviously going to be a bump in the road, but I believe it's for the greater good of the business, and it's essentially his business as well as mine. And I think he'll come around at some point, but he's not happy.
So you still work with him? You're his manager, right?
Yes.
Okay. So he hasn't like severed ties with you or anything like that?
No. I think we do a phenomenal job together professionally, and that's going to continue. As far as this goes, it's a little bump on the road for sure. He's not happy, and we'll see where it plays out. But normally, sometimes I'll do things which is for the greater good that benefits him, benefits his business, benefits my business, and I think everybody wins in the long run.
Here's why the move surprises me a little bit, Mams. I understand why you'd want to have Andrew fight for you, but as far as like the face of the organization, you go from a guy who like kids love, who's wholesome, who doesn't have many strikes against him in KSI, right? Like he's literally selling drinks to kids on YouTube, etc., to a guy with, let's be honest, a lot of baggage. The whole identity of your company changes in an instant. And so that's why I was wondering, like, is this just a storyline? Are we just building to Andrew Tate versus KSI here, and and the CEO job is gonna be on the line? Like, with all due respect, I wouldn't put it past you to do something like that. I'm not saying that in a negative way, but it feels like that's where we're headed. So I just want to know if you could tell us what's what.
I mean, I would love it if that's where we were headed. I think that's a great storyline, But this is the entertainment business, and it's all about keeping people entertained and keeping everybody guessing what's going on. And as a WWE fan, former WWF fan, you suspend your beliefs and you just get into the storyline, and it's like watching a movie kind of. The difference with Misfits is obviously the fights. There's no predetermined outcomes. Everybody fights. You never know. Some things go the way that's best for business, and some things go completely the opposite way. So you can't control the outcomes, but you just try to put the most entertaining product together to tell a story. And essentially, I've always been a storyteller, whether it's in music or even my involvement with Prime and anything we've done. It's always about storytelling. And I think that's got to come first if your goal is to make a business successful.
Given Andrew's history, did you have any reservations about going into business with him?
I spoke to him, and we had a very honest conversation and genuine conversation about it. And I just think, almost all the charges have been dismissed and nothing concrete has ever come out. So there's a point where it's combat sports, first of all. You had Mike Tyson on Netflix, and I don't believe Mike did the things that he was accused of, but he was convicted, Andrew hasn't been convicted of anything. And to me, there's so much stuff on social media, so many accusations, and so much AI and so much whatever else. And I'm not, my job is to provide an entertainment platform with action, with real fights. And that's it. I don't really, obviously I don't want to platform anyone I think is a truly evil person or anything like that. And I just don't think that any of those things are true about him.
When's the last time you've talked to MVP about a potential Jake versus KSI fight?
I'd say Nikisa and I are working on a couple of little things here and there. It's come up. When JJ's ready and gets his hand surgery, I think the timing of it is just it's got to align, and it's almost been such a struggle. Like, Ariel, have you ever had a crush on a girl who was in a relationship, and then she has a crush on you when you're in a relationship, and it never seems to align. That's what it feels like with KSI and Jake.
So has he not had the surgery? Because I remember seeing him at the Times Square event in May, and he showed me his hand, and it was definitely messed up. But that was 6 months ago.
Yes, and he's just, if you look at his diary, you won't believe how busy the guy is.
Yeah.
And I think he's just at some point going to make it a priority. And if he gets a taste back for boxing, then he'll do it. He's not a super money-driven guy, which is why he's made so much and why he's been so successful, because it's always a secondary or tertiary goal. For him, it's about being involved in things that excite him. Things that he knows his fans will like, and then the money comes third, I guess. I think him against Jake Paul, whenever it does happen, if it does happen, is one of the biggest in terms of numbers, and it would reignite the excitement, the feud, the rivalry. But for now, he's got his focus on other things. So it's the new era of Misfits, and that's the focus.
Is there a chance he never fights again, in your opinion?
There is a chance, but there's a chance anyone you could name never fights again.
Sure. Well, yeah. I mean, he's not active right now, so that's why. But yeah, let's see. Can I ask you?
Right.
Can I ask you the poster, the Misfits Mania poster? It has been brought up. Doesn't have a DAZN logo on it. Will it not be on DAZN?
No, DAZN are great partners. They've been great partners to us. This event will be outside of the DAZN X Series universe. And then, we've got some events with DAZN to look forward to early next year as well. And we've got one coming up with
this weekend.
Andrew fighting this weekend, on Sunday.
Misfits Duel. But I'm going to ask you about that in a moment. But just where will this air on December 20th?
Details will be forthcoming.
Will it be pay-per-view?
Yes.
Okay. Misfits Duel. What is that? Andrei Arlovsky's involved. Is this like tag team fighting?
No, they're not. There's no tag team in this one.
Oh,
but
okay.
I do want to have I've been speaking to some former UFC legends about doing a survivor tag.
Okay.
I think we'll piss a lot of people off, but it'll also entertain a lot more people.
So what is Misfits Duel?
Misfits Duel is a new series of duels. They're just regular boxing matches, and you might slip an MMA match on. But it's like it's definitely not like next gen. I would say it's like UFC Fight Night in comparison to a numbered UFC or something like that.
Okay. So it's still the same type of Misfits event, but it's just like a fight night show, not a pay-per-view.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. You mentioned Dillon earlier. There was obviously the interaction with him and Eddie Hall. Is that a possibility or no?
That's a possibility. I'm speaking to Eddie tomorrow. I'm speaking to Dillon a lot about his future plans. I think he's gonna be fighting in this upcoming event, and then we go from there. But it's a one thing at a time thing. But I've got like a trajectory of plans for Dillon, and I think I'm big on his future as well.
I noticed Eddie post a poster of him versus Danis, but I couldn't help but notice that he blurred out the Misfits logo at the top there. What was up with that?
I don't know. I think he's what does it say at the top over there?
Well, it's like the Misfits logo. It says Misfits MMA, I think, but then it's blurred out, and then it says, I think he blurred out the Misfits MMA logo. They just called it MMA Championship. The Crow versus Eddie Hall, date and venue TBC. I don't know if he was throwing shade, if he was mad. I don't know what was going on.
No, I don't think that's what it is. Eddie and I are on good terms. Dillon and I are on good terms, and I think Misfits is the only home for that fight.
Okay. Yeah, I would agree. It would be a perfect fight for you guys. Will Tony Ferguson be on the December 20th card?
I guess I could say, yeah, he will be. And
what do you mean? I guess I could say you would be the guy.
Well, I'm giving you an exclusive.
Oh, I understand. Okay.
Yeah, we weren't going to announce that. I'm not going to announce his opponent, but
fair.
Tony will be, and we'll be unifying that belt one way or another, and it'd be great to have him back. Honestly, I've gotten to know Tony really well, and he's again such a humble, cool guy, and I'm excited that he's fighting. And his fan base initially, hated us for putting him on against Salt Pappy.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I've been seeing him train. He's going to do fine. Don't worry about it. And he did. He did very well, and I think he'll continue to do very well.
I remember around the time of that fight, you were talking about Misfits House of Combat and your MMA plans. Can you explain to the audience what Misfits House of Combat is and what are your MMA plans come 2026? Is it possible that you'll be doing MMA only shows, or will they be hybrid shows with the boxing?
No, that totally we'll be doing our own shows, and I'm looking forward to that. There's some details I can't share, but what I can share is that I think that the space needs some more excitement. So we've got a slightly different rule set, slightly different, very different aesthetic, a blend of traditional with innovative and new and fresh, and ultimately it's you're going to have some very, very exciting fighters on there, but it'll have its own show where it'll be uniquely just the MMA fights. Right now, we've just been, we've had one MMA fight with Dillon Danis, and it did very well. So we wanted to test it out, sprinkle a couple of MMA fights here and there, but we're already convinced that it's going to do well, and we're all in on MMA next year.
So, are you saying like it may not be in a cage like what we're used to? It could be in...
It won't be in a cage.
Oh, wow. Wow.
It won't be in a cage, and it won't be in a ring, but...
and will it have influencer types, or will it be all sort of...
No. We want to attract the best of the best and make it a home for fighters that are exciting and are have the right personalities to entertain, but ultimately it's going to be top level fighters for sure.
Regular MMA rules and gloves and all that, just a different surface, or will that be different too?
Regular gloves and mostly the same rules with a few caveats, but one that I guess a lot of people will be excited about and a lot of people will hate is that there will be a time limit on remaining on the ground. So you're going to have to get up after a certain set time, and the referee will ensure that you stand.
Okay.
You'll stand both up. Whether you're in, if the timer runs out and you're in a rear naked choke, you get stood up. It doesn't matter. It's all about the timer.
When could we expect the first one?
Next year, Q1.
Q1. Okay, that would be the first 4 months of 2026. Also wanted to ask you about Carl Froch. He's sort of teased something. He was at the Till fight. Have you had any talks with him?
Yeah, so speaking of big pay-per-views for Darren Till, I think that's going to be a big one for both of them. And Froch has been flirting with coming back. I think, he was keen on fighting Jake at one point, but it doesn't look like that's going to happen. So I think it makes a lot of sense. Darren and him have gone back and forth a bunch of times, and Till's a beast, man. Like, he's very impressive. He's got the gift of the gab if you can understand him, and and over time you do. He's very funny. He's humble outside of the ring as well. Really fun to work with. And Froch as well. I sat with Carl after the Till fight, and he's like, it seems like it's going to happen. You
really think he's going to fight again?
Yes.
Wow.
If I had to put money on it, I would say yes.
And do you think he jumps right in there and fights a Darren Till, or do you think he takes a tune-up fight?
I think he fights Darren Till. I mean,
wow.
It's Carl Froch. As a boxer, he's accomplished so much, and I think he's top-class, world-level guy who's stayed fit, and he's hungry, and he's got that itch again. So it makes a lot of sense. I don't know. I'm not a fan of necessarily warm-up fights anymore. And people will laugh and say something about that to me, I know, but I think I've had bad experiences with that. So I just rather get to the nitty-gritty if we can, That's the thing that's cool about UFC over traditional boxing is, like, you don't see many guys often having like a 20-0 record. It doesn't happen often where they're just building their record. And I've always really dug that about the UFC is, like, they give you the fights you want to see.
Any chance that could sell out Wembley, in your opinion, or be held in a soccer stadium like that? Spurs.
A soccer stadium, I don't know, but I think you could make it you'd definitely you'd sell out Wembley Arena very quickly.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Wembley Arena for sure. O2, no? You don't think you could do O2?
Yeah, we could do O2.
Yeah.
No problem at all.
But I mean, Carl Froch told me that he didn't tell me, he tells his YouTube channel every day that he sold 80,000 tickets to fight George Groves. Surely Darren Till's a bigger name than George Groves, right? Comeback fight?
Darren Till is today a bigger name, but back then that was a rivalry that been cooking in the British public for a long time, So, is it possible? Yes, I'd have to take the temperature on that. I'm not going to be dishonest and say, oh yeah, 100% we'd sell out. I really want to sell out without having to be like, oh man, we're still 10,000 short. Let's give these away, So I think it would be a major fight, but at the same time, I'm also very aware of the current environment with people spending money on tickets and pay-per-view and things like that as well. So I'd have to feel the temperature out on moving it to a stadium. It'll be a ballsy move, but why not make it so that it sells out in 2-3 days and people have FOMO and want to make sure that they're there at the next fight,
Okay, last one, and this is for your very loyal fan base, your very loyal audience. Give us a fun influencer fight that's going to be on this Misfits Mania card. Give us one. Give us one with one of your litany of characters. What's the one that's going to blow their mind? Here we go. Frank, before he says it, Frank, hit the breaking news music real quick. Here it is. It's all set up for you, Mams. The floor is yours. What do we got?
I'm going to be such a letdown, Ariel. I've given you two.
Wow,
already.
I've served it up on a silver platter for you. Here we go. And you're going to let us down. We always follow up the music with breaking news.
This is the world we're in now. You release an album, the fans 5 minutes later, when's your next album? It's like, let me,
We want the whole thing. We want the whole pie. We don't want a slice. We want the whole thing.
Yeah, but then we get fat and then we don't want to, bad feeling. Take a slice at a time.
All right. I tried to set you up there. I peer pressured you. I understand that.
You're very good at that, but you're also very good at that whilst remaining very nice.
I'll take that. I appreciate that. Thank you, Mams. Looking forward to this. So we've got this, what is that? Sunday show. Why Sunday, by the way?
There was a couple of reasons. It was a very last minute kind of addition, and we wanted to get a lot of the fighters that are contracted. I really wanted to get them out. I didn't want to let anyone down, and I pushed to make sure we have this show, and Sunday was the slot that it was available. So yeah, it just worked out. And what's there to do on a Sunday? You go to church, you have your barbecue, and then you go watch some fights. Nothing better. Okay, so
November 9th, it's the card, MF Duel, at the Municipal Auditorium, and that's the one featuring Mr. Andrei Arlovsky, the legend, the Pitbull, and then December 20th, it's Misfits Mania, The Fight Before Christmas. That's a great line. That's a great title. There you have it. The one and only Chase Damore defending his title against Andrew Tate. That's in Dubai. Looking forward to seeing the announcement of where we can watch that. Thank you very much for the time, Mams. Pleasure as always. Congrats and good luck.
Thanks for having me. Take care.
Pleasure.
God bless.
There he is, Mams Taylor, the president of Misfits Boxing, kind enough to join us here on this Monday afternoon. Thanks for watching this video. Before you go, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button for us. Also, give us a thumbs up, leave a nice comment. These things go a long way. And while you're here, do check out the rest of the channel. We've got live shows and full interviews, clips, and a whole lot more. We're doing big things here, and we appreciate your support very much.